Just like sunrise that comes after every sunset, Friday will always come to the rescue after a long, stressful working week.
Now kicking off our day with you every single time is an absolute delight. Now it's time to rise and be part of our beautiful morning on this special Friday edition of the show.
Yes, indeed. It's an interesting lineup for you. We remain really strong and dedicated to our commitment to be right here as long as you are here with us.
Now, of course, at this point, we also urge you to remain committed to your personal safety if you have to be up and about. I am Mike Mesikeno.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinsan. Remember, you can stream the show live on tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook at TVC Connect.
Now, you can check out all our episodes, most of them, and also our segments. Some of them are cut into different segments to enable easier navigation. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's TVC Entertainment, and
Yes,
you get
indeed.
all that you need.
MM is in the kitchen.
Yes.
And she's looking all bright and beautiful.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm great. Happy Democracy Day, people.
Yeah, happy
I mean,
Democracy Day.
Yes, so
We just have to find
June the
something.
12th.
here.
June 12th. June 12th. We just,
What?
I don't know what people want to say a number of things, but hey, let's look at the bright side. Yeah, it's time to find light at the end of the tunnel. Now, talking about that, of course, we'll kick off with Chude Jidon this morning on Daily Vulnerables.
Yeah, it's Friday. Finally.
Friday and Democracy Day.
It is.
June 12th. And yeah, so it's a public holiday also.
Yes, of course.
So I'm sure many of you are chilling at home. Even though on my way here, there's some places I saw lights, red lights, traffic was already
Building.
I know going out of
You know,
Lagos Ibadan Expressway and all of that. I saw trailers. I don't know why. I was a bit surprised, but we'll check it out.
So the issue really is, it feels like everybody's had such a long holiday that these additional public holidays just feel like, oh more, we're at home again today. It's not like before when we were really fishing out those holidays. Like you would actually literally go through your calendar and search for the next
look for
public
them.
holiday.
Yeah.
But now it's like, another holiday. But people still are trying to also make money. They're also trying to, make ends meet. Some are making sure that their businesses run even through this holiday.
Exactly.
Because they've lost out on so much during the lockdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's key for us to, maybe we should just do a little bit of research on what Democracy Day is all about. And if you have kids at home, maybe just give them a little insight into why today is so important.
Yeah, I think it's very important because we don't know much about our history, even as a country, as a nation. Why is today Democracy Day? I mean, it's important that we, pay attention because a lot of TV stations are going to be, reiterating on, why today is, such a significant day, in
from May,
Nigeria's history. So
from May 29 to June 12, of course, that's because to commemorate the late Chief MKO Abiola. It was normally, but inauguration day, of course, which is a handover day, is May 29th, of course. So, but June 12th, it was moved to June 12 last year and all of that. So, yeah, it's a new Democracy Day. So, it behoves us to, like you said, understand who Chief MKO Abiola was, what he stood for, what he fought for, probably what he died for. And then we'll probably get a better understanding of Democracy Day and what it is all about. Around the world also, protests are simmering down, not as much as we, But I just have this feeling and this good thing. Okay, so people are talking about different points, and then there's also been this talk of people call it black on black racism. So even amongst black, people feel like, okay, this one is too black, For instance, the way, it's a running joke. You know how Niger Ghana jokes go?
Yeah.
That kind of joke. That's why I say, like, I was in Tunisia and he was talking about North African racism on
South African.
On black Africans.
Black African, yeah.
It's crazy there. So we saw some videos and all of that. And, for me, the general message is love. The general message is acceptance. We all bleed red. I've never seen anybody with black blood except except in film, all those things. So, but we all bleed the same. It's all about what is inside. If you're caught, it's going to be red. we all bleed the same. So we should find a way. It's not, I'm not saying that it's going to be Uhuru and everything's going to be utopia, everybody we all love, and, but we should just try to tolerate each other.
I agree with you.
Africans, I do believe, are some of the best people to thrive through conflict, even after they still end up coming out on top. Even if you look at how Rwanda was about a decade ago, and compared to how they are today, they've grown exponentially.
Very well.
It shows, it pays to encourage them so that people can use them as a great example.
Now, talking about encouragement, I remember, when the Madagascar cure was trending and all of our people talking about it and all that. So a number of us Africans didn't even think that Madagascar can do something. And I'm not talking about, it's not about whether it was, whether the cure was effective or not. My point was that they made an attempt.
Yes, they made an effort.
And they made an effort and all of that. We've had, well, because of the systems we have here, we tend to, I don't know, disbelieve first or actually think that it's not going to work. No cure outside there.
It's African.
Yeah. So, and that is a sad thing because in truth, it would have been more effective for Madagascar to, have the support of more African countries.
The whole African Union, I mean, kudos. Yeah. But just generally, I'd want to say big shout out to New Zealand. The women are doing well. Yeah. I have about 5 countries, Germany and all of that, who women are in the forefront. Finland. And they have declared themselves, at least for the past 4 or 5 days now, New Zealand has said that
COVID-19 cases,
no COVID-19 in New Zealand.
Yeah. So
she's a mother. She's combining ruling the country and all of that. Women,
do I hear a little crush from Mike? Mike is crushing on the New Zealand president.
It's now time to take the news, and of course, Titi has us covered on that one.
Oh, yes, I do. Hours after 51 people were killed in Faskari and Dandume local government areas of Katsina State, Governor Aminu Bello Masari says banditry has remained a nightmare of his administration. Katsina State in the last 2 years have been faced with rising criminality such as banditry, kidnapping and cattle rustling. The state government embraced a new dialogue with the bandits after the failure of the first amnesty granted the criminal groups in the state. Now it appears the recent killings and full return of banditry and kidnapping signals the collapse of the peace dialogue. Governor Aminu Bello Masari appears not to be a happy man at the moment. Meanwhile, the military has again assured that all its operations are in the best interest of the nation and to uphold peace, especially in the northeast, which has been battling insurgency. This assurance comes after recent attacks by members of Boko Haram in the Islamic State in West African province. Nigeria is in the middle of a bad coronavirus outbreak, yet in the midst of battling this outbreak, which has disrupted everyday living, security challenges are now on the increase. It puts a great burden on Nigeria's military troops, who have to prosecute a war under peculiar circumstances in this COVID-19 period. Recently, Nigeria recorded another Boko Haram attack in Borno, and while bandits have had a field day attacking communities in Katsina State, both forms of conflict have resulted in scores of lives being lost and properties destroyed. Despite these setbacks, the Defense Headquarters insists all operations are progressing well. The Coordinator, Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche, says these attacks are reprisals and reactions on the part of the bandits and terrorists. One military operation that has sparked a lot of criticism from the Nigerian public is Operation Safe Corridor, an amnesty program for repentant Boko Haram. But the defense spokesman describes it as a kinetic approach to fighting the conflict in the northeast and says results so far have been positive. The program, since inception in 2016, had admitted 893 ex-combatants. 280 of them, including 2 Chadians, have been reintegrated, while 603 are still undergoing the program and will graduate in July. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the ECOWAS Commission to come up with an economic recovery plan to help member states recover from the economic devastation caused by by COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at a virtual meeting with the president of the commission, Jean Kazibru, President Buhari has, in his capacity as the ECOWAS COVID-19 champion, agreed to provide logistic support to enable the sub-region receive and distribute procured and donated medical equipment, using Abuja as the hub for distribution. The Nigerian leader lamented that the pandemic is yet to reach its peak in the sub-region and warned against laxity in the fight against it. He called on member states to continually sensitize their citizens on preventative measures. The president expressed appreciation on behalf of ECOWAS member states for the swift interventions made to the West African Health Organization and the Africa Center for Disease Control by Jack Ma Foundation, while also commending the support so far received from the development partners such as the European Union, Africa Development Bank, France and Germany for their financial contributions in the procurement of medical supplies. As part of plans to help flatten the curve of COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria, the University of Lagos, UNILAG, has decided to conduct most of its academic and non-academic activities online. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundikpe, told TVC News in an exclusive interview that the university will begin classes online once the federal government reopens schools. Professor Ogundikpe said lecturers will teach online while students will also sit for examinations online. U.S. President Donald Trump will hold his first re-election campaign rally in Oklahoma on the date that African Americans celebrate the end of slavery. The rally will take place on 19th of June, known as Juneteenth, in the city of Tulsa, which was the site of one of the worst massacres of black people in U.S. history. The Trump campaign, referring to the date of the rally, said his Republican Party was proud of its role in winning the Civil War and ending slavery. President Trump faces re-election in November, but is lagging behind his Democratic rival, Joe Biden. And that's it on the news update for this hour. Let's take a quick break and return with sports. Thanks, Mike. It's time for me to check out the headlines in the dailies, starting with the Punch newspaper. It says PTF meets governors, security agencies as COVID-19 cases surge. Record new high, that's 681 new infections emerged nationwide as total cases reach 14,554. Now that is the largest number ever to be recorded in one day, I believe. Majority of Nigerians at risk of contracting the coronavirus, says federal government. Worship centers, Lagos deploys security agents to enforce compliance. Moving to the top of the page there, it says experts doubt implementation as Senate passes 10.8 trillion naira revised budget. Wadumi, slain policeman's family seeks damages. Killer soldiers prosecution. Lawan Gbajabiamila plan to meet Buhari over security. Page 36 has more on that. June 12th, Afenifere, Tinubu, Atiku, others hail Abiola. Lagos hosts youth. Moving to the photo story here, it shows members of the International Federation of Women Lawyers and the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Plateau Council, JOS, in a protest and an all-male awareness walk against rape in Lagos. So that's JOS, Enugu, and Lagos. Motorists lament barricades, gridlock on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and 1,000 ghost workers uncovered on Kwara's payroll. Officials arrested. Imagine that, 1,000. Now that's a lot of ghost workers. Moving on to the Nation newspaper here. Government, schools to remain shut. There's a need to shield senior citizens, others with underlying ailments. Rising virus positive cases worrisome. Nigeria records its highest, 681 cases. Domestic flights return, date not fixed. New strain of virus likely in Nigeria. NCDC says states not bringing samples. Now, internationally speaking, COVID-19 global cases stand at 7,546,990 people, with so far 421,677 deaths in Nigeria. As I mentioned with the other paper there, the total stands at 14,554, with the death toll at 387. Moving to the top of the page here, Magu, EFCC recovered 980 billion naira assets in 5 years as Okorocha forfeits 7.9 billion naira cash. 39 million jobs may go, says Osinbajo panel. VP proposes way out. And I'll wrap with this one. June 12th takes root as Democracy Day. That's what we have on the cover of The Nation. What do I have here? Yes, I have The Guardian newspaper up next, and it has a photo of the late MKO Abiola there. It has this headline, Nigeria must restructure to dignify June 12th. Anyoku Afenifere restate calls for true federalism. Atiku urges citizens to evaluate leadership requirements. Tinubu lauds Buhari, heroes of democracy. Now that story starts there on the cover and moves on page 6. 39.4 million people may lose jobs to COVID-19. Osinbajo panel warns. Pandemic cuts 185 billion naira from monthly earnings. Buhari hails citizens' resilience and tasks ECOWAS on recovery plan. Moving to right at the bottom there, Senate okays 10 trillion naira loans, jerks 2020 budget to 10.8 trillion naira, and Okorocha to be arraigned soon, says EFCC. That's what we have on the cover of The Guardian. Let's see, I think we have enough time for the Vanguard here. Now, the Vanguard always has quite a lot of headlines. It says here, COVID-19, millions more will sink into extreme poverty, according to the federal government. Unemployment to rise by 33.6% as Nigeria loses 185 billion naira monthly. Reps seek radical measures to avert recession, past 37 bills. Real Madrid Academy to start academic program September in Rivers. On Naira Watch, Naira appreciates to 385.75 Naira to the dollar in the INE window. Boko Haram now an industry, says Lawan, as Lawan Gbaja meet Buhari over insecurity, as UN condemns killing of 81 civilians in Borno. And it seems that's all we have time for at this hour for the newspaper headlines. We're going to be taking a quick break and be back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back, y'all. It always feels very calming and soothing listening to Chude in the morning. You know, it just gives you something to reflect on. All right, so MMO has been reflecting on some things herself.
Yeah, so there's a question I'd like to ask you guys this morning. And of course, our viewers watching, you could also send your comments to our social media platforms at TVC Connect. What is living your best life like?
And you're not saying like copying somebody else's life and then like wanting to just copy someone.
what is an example of your ideal life?
I don't know. It's a deep question because I said before we came back from the break there, I don't think people actually truly always know what they want until they get to a certain point where it's possible to get it. So I've always wanted to be in the media. I've always wanted to be able to help people. And I think I was asked this very same question during MBGN. Funny, it's so weird.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm standing on stage in ball gown and everything, and they ask, that similar question. And I said I just wanted to be able to help people feel happier.
Okay.
Anything to make people feel happier, I would love to do. In the end, I started doing some research on hospitality, wanting to be able to serve people and help people and create a place where they can come to feel happy. So maybe if it's a recreation center, a hotel, or a resort or something, I wanted to build that kind of place where people, whenever they're coming there, that when they get there, they're going to smile. They're going to have a great time. Yeah, that's
right.
it for me.
Mike?
How do I put this now? I don't know. I feel like you'll be dealt different cards in life. It's almost like a card game, and your best life is making the best of what you've been dealt. I feel like we are all under pressure in some kind of way to. I personally feel like if you're happy, you don't have to prove to anyone that you're happy. You don't have to.
True.
Yes, you can. Living your best life for me, I think, is ultimately being happy. But then being happy, doing what is good with God and with man, because there are a lot of stupid things that make people
happy now.
So don't just say somebody goes up with a blanket statement like, do whatever makes you happy. You are silly. Don't just do anything. Some people, they are happy being racist. So they just go and do whatever makes them happy.
Strong point.
You can't just say go and do whatever makes you happy. No. You do what makes you happy. That is good. With God and your fellow man, whatever God you believe in and all that, if it doesn't hurt your fellow man, if it's good for your fellow man. So I feel like whatever cards you're dealt with, at every point in time, make the best out of it. I try to make the best out of it, and that's just it, And I don't have to I don't feel the pressure to want to prove to somebody else that I'm living my best life or I'm happy. I don't.
Because I often see these things on social media, people going on fancy trips and maybe getting one or two endorsements, and they go all, living my best life,
Wow.
And sometimes I get envious, I won't lie.
Okay.
Because I'm like, that person is actually living their best life. And then it makes me question, myself, am I living my best life?
So I want you to think about something. How do you actually know that is the best version of their life that they're showing?
Well, if they don't
there
say
could be somewhere
I wouldn't know.
But that's the thing, even them saying it, they don't even know what is coming up in future for them. So they can't actually say this is the best they will ever experience.
Yeah, but then I don't go questioning how fantastic their life is or what their, ideal life situation should be. Like, I don't go questioning it.
So
do you understand?
The same way you didn't ask them, right? I'm wondering why they are telling us.
It's like, okay, so one of the things I really want to do, I remember early this year I told God that I want to make impact this year, and one of my goals is to work with the UN. Do you understand? Because I feel that, that would be one of the platforms that I can use in making, I can use in reaching out to people and making a difference and making impact. So for me, when by God's grace in nearest future, if I start to work with the UN and maybe during one of my, volunteering activities, I just say living my best life. I put it on social media.
So that is so interesting. So I've actually met someone who worked with such an organization.
Yeah.
And the truth is that person had a lot of finance in their bank account, yet they were exposed to most of the hardships of the world, because in order to make sure that she made an impact, she had to go to some of the hardest war-torn areas you could ever imagine. There was no kind of accident or bombing or uprisals, attacks that she was not exposed to. She was actually exposed to a bomb that happen
Yes.
like
So
10 cars away.
Exactly. So that's
and,
the thing. When working with organizations like that, you already have an open mind.
Okay.
Because you could be, taken to any or sent to any part of the world. I mean, that's why it is UN. They reach out to countries that need, them.
Hey, I'm feeling you, but I'm just concerned about the fact that to live your best life, you might have to see people going through their worst.
Very true, very true, very true.
That's
I just hope that as a country, as we celebrate as a country, it's hard to think about it at the time. I feel like as a country, I hope Nigeria can even get anywhere close to her good life, not even the best, because it's Democracy Day, June 12th, and when I sit back and think of Nigeria and think of other countries, I know how much we have been blessed
with
when it comes to
natural resources,
endowments that we didn't have to work for, that we just came on the scene and we just saw and all of that. If only we could tap into maybe a 10th of what we do to our full capacity. And this is not me being jingoist. I am just saying that, man, I don't think there's anybody that will come near what Africa can do.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys, I mean, when you look at the Asian countries that have done so well and all that, it's just their mind. But then when if you have what we have, you jump the mind joy, man. Democracy Day will be jumping up. So for me, it's a day today is a kind of day for me to think, to be retrospective, to think about how much what I can do. It's kind of hard, but we can only hope for the best. That's just it. That's just it. We just can only hope, believe, and pray for the best. And the same thing also comes to mind when I hear things like, I mentioned it like the other day when an elected official says that he's scared for the future of Nigeria because the number of people that are waiting to have their own share of the national cake are much more than the people that are sharing the national cake.
Right?
But let's get up a generation that it will most probably not happen in that generation. It takes time for kind of things to happen. But let's hope that the next generation, the people who are teaching and all of that, they get to see how things are done around the world, and we try to at least get to a standard of what we see around the world.
And then to buttress what you just said now, Mike, is it's one thing to pray for our country to get better. It's another thing to work as a collective union or as a collective body, as individuals, you, me, together to make our country better. And that is in our relationships with one another, the kind of the love that we share, the kind of help that we render when you're in need, when I am in need, not, in my name. Okay,
every man
in your house.
Something I want to ask, where were you guys when in 1993?
Oh, okay, don't ask me because I don't know.
You're not born.
1993. So I wasn't here in 1993. I wasn't in 1993. No, I wasn't.
Okay, so 1993. I'm about going to military school in Jos, and I've written common entrance for military school in Jos, and then everything is set, and I'm like, wow. So from primary 5, I'll be going to military school, man. And my popsy, they bought everything. And then something just happens on a day or two before I go to Air Force Secondary School in Port Harcourt to write the exam. And I'm done with the exam. I'm about to travel. And I say, no, you can't travel. There's pandemonium in the country. As at that time, I don't really understand, And then I start putting the bits and pieces together. And I wonder, 1993, my life could have turned very, very differently. I went to another school, took another exam. But just at the point, I was accepted into military school.
So you could have been a soldier right now.
So it could have been just very different. You have just seen me. I don't know if this mustache have been allowed. Whoops. But hey, come on, we'll talk more. We'll talk more about that. Let's know on social media, 1993. What were you doing? What were you, if you were not born, no problem, just chill. Another time when something big happens, you'll be alive. But for those of you that were around in 1993, what was it like for you? We'll just take this short break now, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with much more.
Fellow Nigerians, the 2020 celebration of Democracy Day marks 21 years of uninterrupted civil administration in our dear country. This day provides us an opportunity to reflect on our journey as a nation, our achievements and struggles. It is a day to honor our founding fathers who toiled to establish our republic and every Nigerian who has worked tirelessly to sustain it. We are celebrating this year's Democracy Day despite the COVID-19 pandemic, which afflicts our nation and the whole world. It is indeed a very difficult time for everyone, especially those who have lost loved ones to the virus and those whose sources of livelihood have been severely constrained by the stringent measures we introduce at every level of government to contain the virus and save lives. The dedication of our health and other essential services staff towards containing this virus is a testament of our courage and resilience as a people and as a great nation. And I use this opportunity to say thank you to all of you for your service to the nation. Sustaining our democracy thus far has been a collective struggle, and I congratulate all Nigerians and particularly leaders of our democratic institutions for their resilience and determination to ensure that Nigeria remains a shining example of democracy. In my 2019 Democracy Day address, I promised to frontally address the nation's daunting challenges, especially insecurity, economy, and corruption. I therefore find it necessary to give an account of my stewardship on this day. We have recorded notable achievements in the course of implementing our 9 priority objectives and are establishing a solid foundation for future success. On the economic front, our objectives have remained to stabilize the macroeconomy, achieve agricultural and food security, ensure energy sufficiency in power and petroleum products, develop infrastructure, fight corruption, and improve governance. We have witnessed 11 quarters of consecutive GDP growth since exiting recession. The GDP grew from 1.91% in 2018 to 2.27% in 2019, but declined to 1.87% in the first quarter of 2020 as a result of the decline in global economic activities due to COVID-19 pandemic. Every single economy in the world has suffered a decline. Ours has been relatively moderate. In order to stabilize the economy, the Monetary Authority took steps to build the external reserves, which resulted in improved liquidity in the foreign exchange market. The external reserves grew from $33.42 billion United States dollars on April 29, 2020, to about $36 billion United States dollars in May 2020, which is enough to finance 7 months of import commitments. Agriculture remains the key to our economic diversification strategy. The Presidential Fertilizer Initiative Program continues to deliver significant quantities of affordable and high-quality fertilizers to our farmers. This initiative has also revived 31 blending plants and created a significant number of direct and indirect jobs across the value chain. Government is also revamping the cotton, textile, and garment sector via a CBN Textile Revival Intervention Fund that would considerably reduce foreign exchange spent on cotton and other textile imports. Through the Food Security Initiative, we are promoting grow what you eat and eat what you grow. I am also delighted that more and more Nigerians are taking advantage of the opportunities in the agriculture and agri-business sector. I assure you that government will continue to support agriculture through the CBN Anchor Borrowers Program and similar schemes. To protect our farming investments, we have deployed 5,000 agro rangers and employed 30,289 in our paramilitary agencies. We are also integrating rural communities to the formal economy by extending access to credit and inputs to rural farmers and building feeder roads. Our efforts on growing non-oil exports have started to yield some results. For instance, in the first year, our revenue from cocoa and sesame seed increased by $79.4 million United States dollars and $153 million United States dollars. Africa presents a huge opportunity for our export-based diversification, and we are developing our strategy to grow intra-Africa trade through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Nigeria has risen by 25 places on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business, ranking from 146 to 131st, and is now rated as one of the top 10 reforming countries. This development is due to the visa on arrival policy, consistent promotion of initiatives that expand facilities available to micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, robust electronic registration and payment system, seamless processing of business registration, and reduction of cost of registering business by 50%. We are confident that ongoing efforts will result in further improvement of this rating. We remain committed to expanding our mining sector. To this end, I have directed the resuscitation of the Ajaokuta steel plant based on government-to-government financing and a public-private sector financing. With foreign and domestic investments and the participation of small-scale miners, we are harnessing the supply value chain in gold production. We will also be launching a fully digitized mineral rights management platform for quick processing of mineral rights application, digitalization of records, and flagging revenue leakages. The power sector remains very critical to meeting our industrial development aspirations, and we are tackling the challenges that still exist in the delivery of power through different strategies. We are executing some critical projects through the transmission, rehabilitation, and expansion program, including the Aloaji to Onitsha, Delta Power Station to Benin, and Kaduna to Kano. B, 330 kV DC 62-kilometer line between Birnin Kebbi and Kamba. C, Lagos-Ogun Transmission Infrastructure Project. D, Abuja Transmission Ring Scheme. And E, Northern Corridor Transmission Project. Our agreement with Siemens will transmit and distribute a total of 11,000 megawatts by 2023 to serve our electricity needs. On transportation, another critical sector to improving our economic competitiveness, We are growing the stock and quality of our road, rail, air, and water transport infrastructure. Through the Sukuk-funded road projects, a total of 412 kilometers of the targeted 643 kilometers road projects have been completed, representing 64%. The Prudential Infrastructure Development Fund projects are also progressing very well. On the second Niger Bridge, piling work has been completed and the approach roads are being constructed. 48% of work on this bridge has been achieved. We have constructed 102 kilometers of 376 kilometer Abuja-Kaduna-Kano road, representing 38%, and the 42.9 kilometer Obajana-Kabba road is 87.03% complete. Furthermore, the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency has completed routine maintenance on over 4,000 kilometers of federal roads out of the 5,000 kilometers targeted. We are extending and upgrading our railway network too. We are introducing more locomotives, coaches, and wagons for the Abuja-Kaduna rail line. The Central Ajakuta-Itape Wari line has been completed and is being extended from Itape to Abuja on one end and from Wari town to Wari port on the other. The Lagos-Ibadan rail line is 90% completed and would be extended to the Lagos port, which would help address the long-standing gridlock at the Apapa port. The Kano-Maradi single-track standard gauge railway, Coastal Railway Project, and Port Harcourt-Maiduguri standard gauge railway, with its associated branch lines running through the southeastern and Gombe States Industrial Park and Boni Deep Seaport, are all ready for concessioning. Government continues to make investments in the aviation sector to position it as a travel and trade hub in West Africa and the wider African continent. Airport terminals in Abuja, Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt are being expanded, while the rehabilitation of the Enugu Airport is almost completed. All our airports are being raised to international standards with the provision of necessary equipment, especially navigational aids, to guarantee world-class safety standards. For the first time in over 10 years, Nigeria is conducting bidding process for 57 marginal oil fields to increase revenue and increase the participation of Nigerian companies in oil and exploration and production business. We continue to grow local content in other areas of the oil and the gas sector with the disbursement of funds from the $200 million United States dollars Nigerian Content Intervention Fund to indigenous manufacturers and service providers. With sustained engagement of youth, opinion leaders, and other stakeholders, we have restored peace in the Niger Delta region and maintained our oil production levels. The head office of the Niger Delta Development Commission will be commissioned shortly. The funding of Section 1 to 4 of the East-West Road shall be pursued with a view to completing the project by the end of 2021. Furthermore, I am determined to ensure that development meant for the people of the Niger Delta get to them, so I have authorized a forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Digital economy continues to play an important role in our development agenda as we move into the age of artificial intelligence. Since the creation of the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy has been launched. Steps have been taken to achieve a reduction of connectivity cluster gaps from 207 to 114, as well as increase the level of 4G coverage by 30%. Nigeria remains committed to expanding access to quality education to enhance the productivity of its citizens, and will continue to pursue the enforcement of free and compulsory basic education for the first 9 years of schooling. In pursuit of this, we have launched the Better Education Service Delivery for all in 17 states, established additional 6 federal science and technical colleges, and currently executing a proactive teacher training plan with all states of the Federation. In our revision of the operations of specialized education funds and to implement reforms that would optimize their benefits to the sector, we have adopted a public-private sector partnership for provision of infrastructure and also collaborate with the private sector to create jobs. Our pursuit of affordable housing for the low and middle income earners has received a boost with the delivery of 1,200 housing units, provision of 520 service plots with infrastructure through a public-private sector partnership, and the issuance of 868 mortgages totaling 7.7 billion naira. Similarly, home renovation loans totaling 16.2 billion naira have been granted to 19,210 people. To enable sustainable access to safe and sufficient water to meet the social, cultural, environmental, and economic development needs of all Nigerians, we continue to expand our water supply, irrigation, and dam facilities. The completion of Amozari, Amla, Otupo, and other 42 earth dams with combined job creation of about 43,354 direct jobs and 71,172 indirect jobs would provide more support for irrigation, agriculture, and water supply. To further institutionalize our effort in this regard, I sign the Executive Order 009 on ending open defecation in Nigeria. In order to improve our forest cover and in fulfillment of our commitment at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in 2019, we have commenced the planting of 25 million trees. This initiative will also contribute to our effort to mitigate the effect of climate change. In the area of security, we remain unshaken in our resolve to protect our national infrastructure, including onshore and offshore oil installations, secure our territorial waters, and end piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Ending insurgency, banditry, and other forms of criminality across the nation is being accorded appropriate priorities, and the men and women of the armed forces of Nigeria have considerably downgraded such threats across all geopolitical zones. All the local governments that were taken over by Boko Haram insurgents in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa have long been recovered and are now occupied by indigenes of these areas who were hitherto forced to seek a living in areas far from their ancestral homes. The total collapse of the economies of these areas, which constituted a threat to our food security, has also been reversed with the gradual recovery of farming and other economic activities. I regret recent sporadic incidents with tragic loss of lives in Katsina and Borno states as a result of criminals taking advantage of COVID-19 restrictions. Security agencies will pursue the perpetrators and bring them to swift justice. I implore state and local governments to revamp their intelligence assets so that the security agencies can nip in the bud any planned attacks in remote rural areas. I send my heartfelt condolences to all the relatives and the communities affected. As part of the strengthening of our internal security architecture, the Ministry of Police Affairs was created. Among others, government has expanded the National Command and Control Center to 19 states of the Federation, resuscitated the National Public Security Communication System, and commenced the implementation of the community policing strategy. Government has similarly established a Nigerian Police Trust Fund as a public-private sector vehicle for alternative sources of funding security activities. To reduce security challenges through our external borders, especially smuggling of oil products out of the country, inflow of small arms and drugs into the country, and equally protect our local manufacturers, we introduce exercise swift response, closing our borders from August 20th, 2019, and have considerably succeeded in meeting its objectives as well as improving our national revenue. Our government has continued to work to reduce social economic inequality through targeted social investment programs, education, technology, and improved information. Our social investment program has continued to be a model to other nations and has engaged 549,500 N-Power beneficiaries, 408,682 beneficiaries of the Conditional Cash Transfer Program, and 2,238,334 beneficiaries of the Growth Enhancement and Empowerment Program. This is being done in collaboration with the states. Similarly, market money and trader money programs have provided affordable loans to small and micro-scale enterprises to grow their businesses. Under the national homegrown school feeding program, over 9,963,729 children are being fed to keep them in school and improve their nutritional status. Fellow Nigerians, the year 2020 has been like none other. In January 2020, the COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic by the World Health Organization. The number of global infections have risen from less than 8,000 shared between China and 18 other countries to over 7 million spread over 216 countries and on all continents. Nigeria recorded its first case of COVID-19 on February 27, 2020, and within the first 100 days, I have had cause to address the nation on 3 occasions within 1 month, which underscores the gravity of this pandemic. There is no doubt that this pandemic has affected the global economy and all known socio-economic systems. It has also brought grief and pain to families that have lost their loved ones. Like many Nigerians, I feel the grief and pain, not only as your president, but also as someone who has lost a close member of my staff and some relatives and friends. In order to have a robust national response, I approved a presidential task force on COVID-19 to provide guidance and leadership in tackling the pandemic nationwide. State governments also constituted their own COVID-19 task forces. Complementing this was the establishment of a National Emergency Operations Center responsible for providing technical and professional guidance in the national response. The overall objective of the PTF COVID-19 is to ensure that the pandemic does not overwhelm our health systems while ensuring that we maintain an effective case management system to help in containing the spread of the virus. The impact of the pandemic has disrupted our economic system, and to ensure its functioning while still addressing the spread, the federal government put in place a number of various non-pharmaceutical measures to slow down the spread of the virus, in addition to a progressive reopening of the economy. As part of the strategy to create jobs in reducing the effect of COVID-19 on our youth, I directed the employment of 774,000 Nigerians. These youth will be engaged in special public works program aimed at cushioning the effects of economic downturn. Each of the 774 local government areas in the country will be allotted 1,000 slots. I am pleased to report that this program has commenced. I receive regular briefing from the VTF on COVID-19. I note that the national response relies on science, data, and experience in taking decisions. This informed my approval for the ease of lockdown phase to ensure a balance between lives and livelihoods. I am confident that the steps being taken by the PTF will result in flattening the COVID-19 curve. I therefore implore all Nigerians to abide by the approved guidelines and protocols. There is hope for us all if we take individual and collective responsibility. Government is determined to turn this COVID-19 challenge into a motivation to action by building a nationwide public health care system that will help us overcome the COVID-19 pandemic and prepare for any future outbreak. Already, we have begun to look inward, and I charge our inventors, researchers, and scientists to come up with solutions to cure COVID-19. Government has continued to implement accountability and transparent policies through the Open Government Partnership and the Transparency Portal on financial transactions. Similarly, we have strengthened auditing and accountability mechanisms so as to ensure that rules and regulations are followed strictly. Anti-corruption agencies have secured more than 1,400 convictions and also recovered funds in excess of 800 billion naira. These monies are being plowed into development and infrastructure projects. The public service of Nigeria remains the bedrock for the formulation and implementation of policies, programs, and projects in the country. This accounts for why it continues to evolve, especially as new socio-economic challenges emerge for government to address. I will continue to give all the necessary support for the ongoing reforms designed to return discipline, integrity, and patriotism as a hallmark of the public service. In the face of dwindling resources and rising costs of governance, I have authorized that the white paper on the rationalization of government parastatals and agencies be reviewed for implementation. Our youth population remains a source of strength in achieving development objectives. In this regard, we would continue to concentrate in developing their skills, providing them with opportunities to express their entrepreneurial, research, and industrial capacities, as well as ample opportunity to take leadership positions in the service of the nation. The commitment of this administration to the well-being of people living with disabilities remains unwavering. Government recognizes their contributions to development. I have directed that all relevant government agencies pay special attention to the peculiarities of persons with disabilities in the formulation and implementation of their policies and programs, and where suitable, their employment. Nigerian women remain a particular treasure to this nation, and for this reason, this administration has continued to give them a place of pride in the affairs of our country. I salute your courage, enterprise, and resilience, as well as your contributions to national development. I wish to assure all our women of this administration's determination to fight gender-based violence through the instrumentality of the law and awareness creation. I am particularly upset at recent incidents of rape, especially of very young girls. The police are pursuing these cases with a view to bringing perpetrators of these heinous crimes to swift justice. Government continue to recognize and harness the power of the media for positive development. The reforms of the broadcast and advertising industries, including digital switch over and continuous engagement through town hall meetings, remain central to accurate and credible information dissemination. Our culture provides the basis for our existence as a people and a nation. In preserving iconic aspects of our national culture, this government has been pursuing the recovery of artifacts removed from Nigeria, promoting heritage sites and festivals, and working towards designating some of our heritage sites as UNESCO World Heritage Centers. Nigeria would always be governed by the rule of law, and I will do my utmost to uphold the Constitution and protect the lives and property of all Nigerians. Government has initiated a number of policies and programs designed to promote the legal rights of Nigerians, facilitate the institutionalization of a responsive legal system, provide support to all constituted bodies in implementing their mandates, and improve our custodial system of justice. The National Assembly has been an important partner in our quest to sustain our democracy and achieve our development objectives. I therefore greatly thank the leadership and members of the Senate and the House of Representatives for their invaluable support at all times. I would also like to convey our deep appreciation to members of the press for your doggedness in the struggle for attainment of democracy since the beginning of our nationhood. I must admit that the relationship between the media and successive governments has not always been perfect, but there is no denying the fact that you have been an effective watchdog for the society, especially in holding public offices to account. It is sad that in the cause of securing our democracy, some of your colleagues have had to pay a heavy price. We will continue to guarantee freedom of the press as we place high premium on responsible journalism that is devoid of hate speech, fake news, and other unethical professional conduct. Fellow Nigerians, as we celebrate this year's Democracy Day, let us remember that notwithstanding our aspirations, humanity and indeed democracy is under the threat of COVID-19. Nigeria has survived many crises before and came out stronger. I am confident that by God's grace, we shall overcome this one and emerge stronger and more purposeful. Thank you for listening, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, welcome back. It's Wake Up Nigeria. It was quite a long speech there by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. And yes, welcome to the kitchen, guys. It's Wake Up Nigeria. And of course, Chef Yetunde is with me here in the kitchen. Hello.
Hello, good
morning.
morning.
Hi, good morning. I know that speech was so long, right? Yeah, but well, it was well thought out. Anyways, yeah, so this morning we'll be making
vanilla Swiss roll this morning.
Vanilla Swiss roll. So let's talk about the ingredients we'll be working with this morning.
Okay, so we'll be using the eggs, sugar, flour, and the vanilla flavor.
Okay.
Then it will be garnished with the whipped cream and the strawberry.
Whipped cream and strawberry. Okay, so is this the whipped cream here?
Yeah, that's the whipped cream powder.
Okay.
So I'll be making use of this for the whipped cream.
Okay.
And this is the strawberry.
And then the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to work then, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So I'll be mixing this, the egg and the sugar, the flavor, on high speed for like 10 minutes until it doubles in size.
So what if you don't have the whipping machine? What do you use to achieve that same whippiness with the cream? I'm talking about the cream now.
No, you're going to need that, except you can get a liquid one, but even with the liquid whipped cream, you still have to whip it.
Okay, you still have to whip it, so it's important that you have a whipping machine. Okay, great.
Important.
So now we're about to mix our ingredients for the Swiss roll.
Yes,
okay.
That's what we're doing now. That's the egg, the sugar, and the flavor first.
Okay, okay, great. So let's get to work. If
So
you're just
this have been weighed. I have 125 grams of sugar here.
Okay. Do you always have to measure that, or you just work with your
do.
discretion when working with sugar?
No, I do. I measure all the time.
Okay. And then our flour is going in next?
The eggs.
Okay.
So we are putting in 7 eggs here now.
7 eggs, wow.
Yes,
so how do you know the quantity of eggs to use or the number of eggs to use when working with your flour?
Yeah, you know, when working with a standard recipe, you have to measure everything. It's there. You have to measure it.
Okay.
And if you don't measure it, something else might happen. Maybe the cake won't be fluffy or something. Anything could happen. But you won't get the right texture.
Okay. All right, so let's get to it. Yeah. So I'm guessing that when working with this, you need to use a lot of eggs to achieve the fluffiness.
Yes, because I won't be using any baking powder at all.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Do you need me to get anything for you or do anything for you? All right, great. All right, if you're just joining us this morning, we are making vanilla Swiss roll. And with me in the kitchen is Chef Yetunde. And we're about to mix in our
eggs and sugar.
Okay.
With the flavor.
All right, so let's take this away so that you have enough space to work with. All right.
So you can see the eggs are of medium sizes, not the small.
So I'm guessing this, if we're using the smaller eggs, we have to use more eggs.
Yes, you have to increase it. So although I prefer using the medium size, it gives me the accurate texture.
Okay. So when our eggs are ready, what next do we do?
Then we mix it.
Okay. On your screen right there are the ingredients if you're watching. We're working with eggs, flour, our vanilla syrup, sugar, butter. Yes?
Yeah, that's just for greasing the baking tray.
Baking tray, okay. All right. So what's next?
This is the vanilla essence.
Vanilla
just
essence.
To give it the flavor.
Okay. So can you... All right then, at this we have to take a break now. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thank you very much, Mike, for updating us on football season. All right, so with me here in the kitchen this morning is Chef Yetunde, and we are making vanilla Swiss roll. So, Yetunde, let's go through the ingredients and then where we at right now.
Okay. We stopped at mixing. That's mixing the sugar with the flavor and the eggs.
Okay.
So after that, I'm going to fold in the flour.
All right.
I'll fold in the flour with my spatula. I won't be using the mixer, so the flour, so it doesn't fall.
Okay. So just so we're clear, so right here we have our eggs, sugar.
Yeah, and the flavor.
And the flavor, that's the vanilla flavor which we're using. And next we are going to put in our flour, yes?
Yes.
All right. And what are you doing at the moment?
I'm greasing my pan.
Okay.
So that when it's after baking, it comes out easily. I'll just bring it out with the baking paper.
Okay.
Then I can roll it.
Okay. So the difference between a Swiss roll and baking a cake is, you want to tell us what the difference is?
Yeah, a vanilla Swiss roll is an Italian dessert.
Okay.
Some cakes are desserts too, but this, you are going to roll it and you're going to cut it in bits. So it's something you eat after a meal, not like the full cake you decorate for a party, like a birthday party. This is a a part of the meal.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
All right. So right now we're about to whisk eggs, right?
Yes.
And then get it ready. Then we put
Then
in
we
our
fold in the
flours.
flour.
And all right. So this is a very, very, very easy and quick recipe. This we are making Swiss roll. Is a dessert, and I'm sure it will be ready in a bit. All right. So there's still so much more on Wake Up Nigeria, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Yep. The third hour. The president spoke for what? 40 minutes?
Yeah, about
40 minutes plus or minus.
There's a lot to talk about. Being Democracy Day, you're probably just waking up. It's a public holiday, and the president spoke at 7 a.m.
Exactly. So we put up something there for social media. Let us know what you were doing in 1993, right? 1993, by this June 12, around this time, what were you doing? All right? Let's know on social media with the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Now, welcome. This is the final lap on your numero uno breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
Now, if you just tuned in, welcome to the best thing happening on TV right now. My name is Titilayo Onyinson.
Mike Mesikeno is mine. Now, remember, as things improve in different parts of the world and also in this country, follow all health guidelines and the fight against COVID-19.
And as you step out, please don't forget to take your face mask with you. Please stay safe and keep a safe distance from people around you. And now you can stream this show live at tvcentertainment.tv and Facebook Live at TVC Connect.
You can also go to YouTube, TVC Entertainment. That's our channel. On YouTube, you can watch episodes, previous ones, and also segments that really made an impact on you. You can watch them back on YouTube, of course.
There's actually a part of the YouTube channel that is always getting a lot of hits. That's where our chefs are. All the chefs' recipes from past episodes, you'll be able to find them there on YouTube. Now, shortly, coming up, we'll be having an update on what's been happening in the world of entertainment.
Yes, a roundup for this week. So we're going back at stories that happened across the whole week on our entertainment roundup.
And then to wrap up the show, we'll be joined virtually for a chat by model, actor, and movie producer Chris Okagwe.
That first picture was looking like the banjo.
People that are studying, they study science, you know that. I'm studying art, but I can tell you what I know, that when once you breathe in oxygen, the same what we call is like carbon. We call it carbon dioxide.
Nice one. If WWW means worldwide.
So it is said that TikTok was made for people who don't have things to do. Yeah, that was the idea when it was put together, and it actually works because during COVID-19, the downloads and everything, TikTok really kept a lot of people at home, you know, because I mean, you're putting your mind. It's not so easy. You have to memorize what somebody said and then go with the pace. Try to make your face look like the accent and all of that. So it's work to put together a TikTok video.
And even editing, you also have to edit.
So people did a lot of good. Did you guys do?
I know, I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
So I signed up.
You signed up,
and I uploaded just one video.
Okay.
And then Best Man reached out to me. I was like, I really think this would be a fantastic platform for you to, you know, use. And I was like, oh yeah, I think so too. But that was just it for me. No, it didn't happen.
Such a lot of work.
You know, it was just like Snapchat. Yeah, I didn't. I felt like okay. Facebook is already there, Twitter is already there, Instagram is already there. Benny, that's enough for me now. So Snapchat Snapchat came up with the filters which you can use on other apps, and it did work. So TikTok with the integration with other apps and all of that, it's working quite cool and giving us
so I wanted to touch on some of the things that the president mentioned in his speech. He talked a bit about digitizing mineral rights management and for processing of minerals, and he mentioned gold as well. He also mentioned the fact that the rail lines are going to be working well very soon, and he also mentioned the Apapa gridlock. He touched on quite a few issues, and as well as touching on COVID-19, and he specifically said that 2020 has been a year like no other. But in the midst of the pandemic, there were so many other things that needed to get done, and it does seem like you know, a whole 40-minute speech had a lot of things that needed to be addressed.
He actually did touch on a lot of issues which the country right now is facing, and three of them mainly is the economy. He touched on corruption, and he also touched on security, which are, you know, the major issues that we are currently facing as a country, as a nation right now. And then he also talked about power, electricity.
Well, quite a lot to talk about. Obviously, the news broadcasts and bulletins that will come for the rest of the day will be giving you all the details in case you missed the speech. And it will likely be online by now as well.
And then TVC is also going to be, you know, touching on a lot of those issues with analysts, of course, across board, you know, so it's going to be a real democracy day.
There's a lot to talk about.
All right. Okay, so it's time for us to take the news down.
Speaking of news, it's about time for me to take another update. Now, for the second time this week, the number of new COVID-19 infections crossed the 600 mark. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control reported 681 new cases of coronavirus overnight, taking the country's total to 14,554. A total of 4,494 people have been discharged, while 387 persons have died from COVID-19 related complications. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Nigeria as the country celebrates 21 years of uninterrupted democracy. According to President Buhari, Democracy Day provides Nigerians an opportunity to reflect on our journey as a nation, our achievements and struggles. He stated that his administration has recorded some notable achievements.
This day provides us an opportunity to reflect on our journey as a nation, our achievements and struggles. It is a day to honor our founding fathers who toiled to establish our republic, and every Nigerian who has worked tirelessly to sustain it. We are celebrating this year's Democracy Day despite the COVID-19 pandemic, which afflicts our nation and the whole world. It is indeed a very difficult time for everyone, especially those who have lost loved ones to the virus and those whose sources of livelihood have been severely constrained by the stringent.
As part of plans to help flatten the curve of COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria, the University of Lagos, UNILAG, has decided to conduct most of its academic and non-academic activities online. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundikpe, told TVC News in an exclusive interview that the university will begin classes online once the federal government reopens schools. Professor Ogundikpe said lecturers will teach online, while students will also sit for examinations online. U.S. President Donald Trump will hold his first re-election campaign rally in Oklahoma on the date that African Americans celebrate the end of slavery. The rally, which will take place on 19th of June, known as Juneteenth, in the city of Tulsa, which was the site of one of the most, or rather the worst, massacres of black people in the U.S. history. The Trump campaign, referring to the date of the rally, said his Republican Party was proud of its role in winning the Civil War and ending slavery. President Trump faces re-election in November, but is lagging behind his Democratic rival, Joe Biden, in the polls.
Welcome back. It's Wake Up Nigeria on TVC.
There's so much happening, so many things to keep track of.
Yes, there is. And right now we're about to update you on what's been happening in the world of entertainment. So yes, 3 days ago, the band celebrated his 40th birthday. The multiple award-winning Nigerian singer clocked 40 yesterday, and friends and well-wishers celebrated him in a unique way. The co-founder of the funk music label, Mohit, organized an online birthday concert in honor of his big day. The band took his fans down memory lane by performing top 40 of his songs, with majority dating back to the good old Mohit days. Fans were also thrilled to see some former members of Mohit at the virtual party, Don Jazzy, Wande Cole, amongst others. Several disc jockeys, singers, label executives, show promoters also graced the virtual concerts. And also on his birthday, he actually got a huge endorsement deal.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was amazing. I actually thought the band was older than 40.
Oh, for real?
I don't know why I always thought he was older
okay,
than 40. But a big congratulations to him on his 40th, and of course his big endorsement deal as well.
He's one of those entertainers that definitely decided to push the envelope. When he came back from the UK all those years ago, he had a choice, and he put all his effort into and he partnered with Don Jazzy in the beginning, and it was just like a match made in heaven. There's so many great hits that people still dance to in clubs till today in different countries all over Africa. I think he should be really proud of what he's achieved, and he did this all before he was 40. So I think he is one of those artists that
he has done well.
He's
done well. He is. All right, so moving on to the international scene, Beyonce is set to sign deal with Disney after appearing as the voice of Nala in the remake of the Lion King movie and creating her own soundtrack for the film. American singer Beyonce is reportedly in talks with Disney as she is set to sign a mouth-watering deal worth $100 million. Wow. To appear on 3 major projects. According to sources, the deal, which is still in the negotiation stage, will see Beyonce appear on the soundtrack for Black Panther 2, as well as 2 other films. The source further states that Disney is putting up a lot of money to get the singer to also agree to voice some of the new documentaries that will premiere on their Disney Plus platform. Wow. Wow, everyone seems to be winning. Right.
Yes, but Beyonce just has that star power. Anything she touches basically turns into gold.
Not even gold, diamonds. I mean,
it's amazing.
Wow.
Just one post on her Instagram page sets which brand was it? Was it Adidas? Adidas, changed what people see as sportswear for the next 5 years.
She basically revolutionized it. I mean, it's amazing.
Incredible.
Congratulations to her on that one. Really looking forward to it.
It's a lot of money, though. Disney Plus staking a lot of money on that move because it's a new platform, and I guess they're trying to use her star power
to promote it. Which is good. All right, moving on. Iggy Azalea has a son. The Australian singer and rapper has confirmed the rumors making the rounds for months that she has given birth. Confirming the rumors, Iggy Azalea took to her Instagram page to post on her story that she has indeed welcomed her first child, a baby boy. She wrote, "I have a son. I kept waiting for the right time to say something, but it feels like the more time passes, the more I realize I am always going to feel anxious to share news that giants with the world. I want to keep his life private, but I want to make it clear that he's not a secret and I love him beyond worlds." Wow. Though the identity of our baby daddy is unknown, Iggy's last relationship was with US rapper Playboy Carti. The pair reportedly started dating in 2008 and moved in together last year. Congratulations to Iggy Azalea. Do you know any of her songs?
So Iggy kind of, took a step back from the scene for a bit.
Yeah.
She did say something about wanting to just take a break, you know, reflect on things.
Yeah.
But she's quite a talented artist.
Yeah, she is.
Always being compared with Nicki and with
Cardi, yeah.
but she always tried to build her own brand. I respect the fact that she wants to keep her baby's life private and everything. But the truth is sometimes once you're a public figure, that you're a public figure. And then there's that anxiety of when you just become a parent, you're like, oh, you want to just protect this child.
With your life. So I can totally relate with what, you know, she is going through at the moment. And congratulations to you, Iggy. Like I said, everyone seems to be winning on the shows. Like everyone seems to be winning on the entertainment scene, which is really, 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 really good to see. All right, moving on. Olu Jacobs is alive and well. This is from Kemilala Akindoju, and then other Nigerian actress Kemilala Akindoju has come out to dispel the rumor making the rounds that veteran Nollywood actor Olu Jacobs is dead. She made this known via Twitter, where she pleaded with people to stop spreading fake news. She wrote, "Uncle Olu Jacobs is alive and well, very much so. I got off the phone with him. Please stop spreading fake news." Joining to shut down the rumor, the Actor Guild of Nigeria, via their Instagram page, has also come out to state that the veteran is not dead. They wrote, "This is to inform the general public that our legendary actor, Olu Jacobs, is alive, very hale and hearty. Disregard the malicious rumor about his death making rounds, especially on social media. It is fake news. The national president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria is in touch with the family. We use this medium to warn mischief makers and enemies of our industry to desist from this wickedness." Mona Lisa Chinda Kuka said this. And well, wow.
Yeah, so it's a very sensitive issue. And one thing about social media is that from the response to the video that led to all those protests around the world, you can understand how powerful social media is.
True.
People need to take it a little bit more seriously and confirm things before they put it out there. Thankfully, we've been able to dispel this rumor, and we can't wait to see Uncle Olu Jacobs back on
our
film,
TV screens, yeah,
very, very soon.
And I'm really wishing him all the best, and we pray for his health as well, because I mean, I really don't know what people gain in spreading. That's going too far, really. It is going too far, too far. Anyways, moving on to our giants of Africa.
Yes, sir.
Burna Boy has become the most streamed artist in sub-Saharan Africa. Wow. This Nigerian artist has been unveiled as the most streamed artist in sub-Saharan Africa, according to Billboard. The list, which is titled Billboard's Top 15 Sub-Saharan Africa's Artists, gives Burna Boy the lead based on global views, with 435.57 million streams, while Diamond Platinum is second on the list with 291.98 million streams. Wow. Davido takes the third spot with 285.76 million streams, while Fally Ipupa and Wizkid take the fourth and fifth spots with 186.5 million streams and 176 million streams respectively. Other Nigerian artists featured on the list include Techno, Mr. Easy, Flavor, gospel singer Sinach, Yemi Alade, and Joe Boy. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all of them.
So now, you know, there was a time it was radio play that used to determine, you know, who was the best. But now, streams is everything. And, you know, endorsement deals come with streams. Opportunities, business opportunities also come with streams. Then also, you realize that the music is actually getting to the people.
Globally, not just locally this time, yeah. So congratulations. All right, so moving on, Simi and Adekunle Gold have welcomed their first child. The celebrity couple have welcomed their first child, a baby girl. Announcing the arrival of their bundle of joy, the new mom took to Instagram where she shared a picture of Adekunle Gold carrying the baby with the caption, Adejare Kosoko. It's like free falling. This unending, soul-snatching, infinite, mind-boggling love. Wow. Deja, my baby girl, I got you. We got you, and I promise now and forever, so help me God.
It's so sweet.
I'm telling you.
So sweet.
Wow. Adekunle Gold was also not left out, as he also shared the same picture on his Instagram page and wrote, Adejare Okosoko Deja, we got you. I promise you to love you. I mean, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
AG Baby has a baby.
Congratulations to Adekunle and Simi. Now, their relationship being in music and being very emotional singers and people that are very in touch with expressing themselves through song. It does feel like they're going to be writing a lot of songs about this child.
Yeah. I mean, little wonder Duduke actually stole our hearts. I mean, that was a beautiful song and a beautiful video as well. Yeah. Congratulations to everyone. I mean, everyone is winning and we are so here for it.
I just wanted to say, when I had the twins 7 years ago, Simi actually gave me a gift of a carton of diapers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I have to send...
Yes, you have to return the favor.
Yeah, I have to return that favor now. I'm going to be sending a carton of diapers myself. I never forgot that, and I'm definitely going to repay that myself. But congratulations, guys.
Yes.
I'm all emotional now. I'm like, oh my God.
All right, so the last lap of the show is going to start up in a bit.
Yeah.
It's taking a quick...
Welcome back. Wake Up Nigeria is always fun on Fridays. Like, oh goodness me, so much happening today.
Probably it's our best show day, I feel. And yeah, it is. Fridays are. You know, but this time it's we have a guest now. I know.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Okay.
We have a guest. We're going to be. We're being joined by actor, model, movie producer, and reality TV star Chris Okagwe. Now, since this talented actor broke into the mainstream, he starred in movies like Kada River, Lotana, Colorless, just to mention a few. Today, he's going to be sharing with us some of the things he went through during this lockdown that just wrapped up. Hi, Chris.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me and can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see you and we can hear you very well. You know, some few weeks back, there was a recap of Ultimate Search. And we got to see how we got to see it looked like a different person. This was before you were the winner and all of that. And it was quite cool. It was quite cool to see you take on.
I was a different person.
Yeah, it was quite cool to see you take on some challenges and, you know, your affirmations, your belief that you win. You know, when you know that somebody has already won and you're looking back to see how there are some lessons that could be learned. Let's just go a bit of a throwback. Let's do a bit of a throwback. Did you always feel you would win?
Okay.
What lessons did you learn? What were the things that you put into place that made you win that other people can learn from?
Very simple, and I remember this like it was yesterday. First off, I never thought I was going to win. Truth is, I tried out for Ultimate Search twice. First time in 2010, and I didn't get in, and then tried again in 2011. And I remember before getting into the show, my sister had told me that I may not win, I should just keep an open mind. So I went into the show with this mindset of go as far as you possibly can, make as much impact as you can. So eventually, when you get out of the show, you can use whatever platform you've been able to build to further your career. So getting on this show was pretty much a case of survive eviction every day. Because for every day you survive eviction, you get closer to the final day, right? If we're 10 and we go for a task today and 2 people get evicted, that's 8 remaining and I'm still part of that 8. And if that process continues, you find yourself in the last 2 or last 3, which was pretty much what happened. So it was every day was a final for me. Every day, every task we did was a final for me. What did I learn from it? I mean, there's really nothing that you cannot achieve if you put your mind to it. I know this has been said a billion times, but it cannot be overemphasized. It was a great experience for me. Sometimes I actually miss it. It's weird because it wasn't easy. It was tough having to live in the jungle for 28 to 30 days. But like I said, it was a great experience. is something that I never probably wouldn't have done. I don't think anybody would just wake up in the morning and decide to go to the jungle and live there. It's a once in a lifetime experience, and it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about resilience, just staying focused, and also gauging your competition. Because getting on the show, I knew a couple of people who I thought were threats to me. So I stayed close to them and watched them, learned from them, tried to manipulate their weaknesses. Because it's a game, regardless of who's friends with who. It's a game, and there can only be one winner. So I guess God had plans for me to win, which I didn't know about, but it turned out the way He planned it, and we are here today.
All right, so I'm definitely one of the people that was glad that you were the one that ended up winning, and it does feel like you've been winning since then. You've been taking some really great roles, and during the lockdown, you took on a role online as well. You started something called Hard Truths on Instagram.
Yes.
A lot of people were doing a lot of things on Instagram, but you decided to do Hard Truths. Why, one? And then what exactly do you think you achieved with it?
Okay, so basically the Hard Truth with Chris was born from a friend of mine. She used to live here, but she lives in Canada right now. So she called me up randomly during the lockdown, saying that she wanted to talk to me about something for a research paper she was working on. And she was basically trying to get a man's perspective on the topic of ghosting. And it was supposed to be a quick chat, but we ended up talking about it for almost 1 hour, which was very interesting. She shared her views, I shared my views, and I'm like, I think I'm going to take this out there and get people's opinion on the topic of ghosting. But I now put some more thought into it and decided, when it comes to relationships, the topics are inexhaustible. So I came up with a system, gave it a title, reached out to friends who might be interested. Some were ready to jump on it. Some others were a bit skeptical. Came up with my topics and started off the show. So it started off like, okay, let's just see how it goes. I planned to do 10 episodes. I ended up doing 13 or 12 or so. And it was every 2 days. And it was a lot of work because the days in between the days I had to shoot, I had to prep, I had to come up with my interview questions. I had to come up with the game questions because there's also a game section after the interview. Just trying to make it lively, very laid back, very conversational, not necessarily like an interview that it's a bit formal. I wanted it to be very, very chilled. I chose the time, 8:30 p.m. when I know everybody, even though nobody was going out, but people are more on their phones. People are, going through Instagram, and it just blew up. People kept calling me. Even till now, people are still requesting for a season 2, which might happen. I'm not giving out any spoilers, but I think it was a great idea, and I'm very happy that I did it because it kept me busy. And I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but because of that show, some things are now in the pipeline that may happen in the very near future.
Wow.
And when it does, you will know. I'll tell you guys.
Okay. Are you gonna have your own TV show? Are you gonna have your own talk show? Are you gonna become the next Dr. Phil?
I have always wanted to have my own TV show. Funny enough, before Ultimate Search, I used to work as a presenter. I worked with Koga Studios for a couple of months.
Okay.
I covered a lot of events. Wizkid's first album launch, Yemi Sax, Jimmy Jack, John Paul. And at the time, myself and my producer, we were working on my own show, studio-based show. Then Ultimate Search happened. And then after Ultimate Search, obviously, things just went haywire. I had to be there, so I couldn't really do that. But I've always wanted my own show. So this just might be it. This just might be it.
All right. All right.
Oh, well done. Cool one. So let's just post lockdown and over, when everything returns to normal, what projects do you have on the horizon? What are the most immediate things that you get straight back to once everything is maybe the closest it can be to normal?
Definitely. Going back to work. I am someone who, as much as the lockdown wasn't really that much of a problem for me, I don't like to be in one place for a long period of time. I'd rather be working than not working. And I think a lot of people, especially in our industry, are like that. And also coupled with the fact that this is how we make a living. So during the lockdown, there was a lot of debit alerts and very few, pretty much no credit alerts. So we had to get back to make back all the money that we had to spend with stocking up and this and that. But primarily for me, it's basically going back to work. So before the lockdown, I was working on a project called Sanitation Day by Film One. It's a movie produced by Film One. And I think we had about 3 or 4 days left to shoot before they announced the lockdown. So we had to strike that. So we pretty much finished the movie because I returned to set on a couple of days ago, like 4 days ago, and we wrapped up 2 days ago. So that's done, which is a relief for me because I like to get on the job and finish.
There's more than one. Goodness me. Like, okay, wait. Calm down. Don't worry. We're going to be watching out for you on social media. We're going to be looking out for your updates. Yeah. We're going to definitely be rooting for you. And as soon as they come out, you need to make sure you come to the studio and tell us all about it. Yes?
Definitely.
So we would have taken you to the kitchen if you were in the studio. You remember how it was in our kitchen the last time you were here?
I remember the kitchen. I remember the kitchen.
And our chef made something so delicious today.
Chris, just keep on remembering.
Just remember. And we'll help you to eat it on your behalf, virtually.
Thank you very much.
That's lovely sharing. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.
All right. Bye, Chris.
All right. What's up? What are you doing in the kitchen? Let's give us update. Give us update,
MM.
Are you joining me or not?
You can't stop us from joining you. You don't understand.
You guys better get in here. All right. So Chef Yetunde has finally finished our Swiss vanilla roll. Yes, so it's ready, and as you can see, it looks really good.
Goodness me. Look at that. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. A lot of work went into this, by the way.
So for me, the Swiss roll is like a flat cake that is rolled and there are ingredients inside it, right?
So you want to tell us how you achieved this quickly, Yetunde?
So, like I explained earlier, we mix the flour, the sugar and the eggs with the flavor. So after mixing on high speed for like 10 minutes till it doubles in size, and I folded in the flour. So after folding in flour, you bake it for 15 minutes. Okay. So after folding, immediately you sprinkle a little bit of sugar on the.
This is what you call a little bit. This is not a little bit, so this is a lot. Okay, just.
All right, so I'm just gonna.
Am I the guest for today?
Yes, you are.
I am.
Please enjoy.
Take it on behalf of Chris.
On behalf of Chris.
Chris, she wants to add more whipped cream to it.
Oh my goodness! I saw some strawberries somewhere.
Yeah, there are strawberries there.
Oh wow!
Oh goodness me! Yeah.
So this is a dessert. It's quite easy to make though. Very easy to make.
You plan to do it soon or something?
Well, I'm not much of a baker, so no.
Okay.
So our guests need to make sure they start coming back to the studio on time, because if not, I'm going to put on too much weight eating all this food on their behalf.
It's not by demo.
It's back. Goodness me.
All right.
It's
been a wonderful time. Thank you very much to Homely Angie for the kitchen accessories, and of course to all our guests for tuning in today. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Democracy Day, and we'll see you next week. Monday, of course, 6 a.m. Bye-bye.
Bye.